Okay, so I'm going to start recording now. Yeah, I'm quite confident that you will pass if you do the work. The tests, I will warn you, the tests and the assignments in the past have been kind of tricky. Students caught out on that, so I do encourage you to do the work in this course, and sort of get down to it. But you won't find that it's a sort of a huge leap from our introduction to HTML that we did, which was just a couple weeks of work. 3 or 4 weeks of work in our CP1000 class. This is an extension of that. And actually, the first little bit is kind of like a bit of revision of that. So as you can see in the course outline, we've got introduction to HTML, cascading style sheets, working with forms. Those things there, that's about as far as we got with the other class. But what I would say is the cascading style sheets, we do a lot more stuff in that. A lot. So in the cascading style sheets, we're going to format our web pages in lots of different ways. So that we can manipulate them, and so that makes it look different on a mobile phone than it looks on a desktop. So we're going to manage the width and all this kind of thing. That's all kind of fun, but it requires your attention. I won't say it's hard, but you won't be able to sleep through it. You know what I'm saying? You're actually going to have to sort of pay attention to get that right. Um, so somebody was trying to chat with me. What was that? Or chat generally. Will we use Bootstrap? I'm not familiar with Bootstrap. I'm not sure what you mean. I'll have to check that up. But I mean, the term Bootstrap I use in a different way. But I'm sure you're talking about some software, which to be honest, I haven't used it, and so I'm not planning on using it in this class. What I expect to use, you can see on the screen here, Visual Studio Code. So that's this thing here, where you're just writing your code in straight text. That's what I'd be expecting to use as the main tool for us in this course. W3 schools is where we're going to start in today's lesson. And I do have a little exercise for you. Um, Multi-platform version of HTML. Well, the HTML that we're using, HTML5, I mean, it is multi-platform. It'll work on your lap. I can't hear anybody. It's yeah, people aren't talking. That's why. But the HTML that we're writing, we are using HTML5, and it'll work multi-platform. Yeah, it works on your Apple, it works on your Android, it works on your desktop. So yeah, so
So
you're covered there. Yes,
the
Adnan.
final exam is written or on computer?
Um, Last semester we had students come into the college and write a final exam, and that final exam was like 5 pages, 5 exercises, and the final exam uh, was students were allowed to bring in an A4 page of sort of written notes, but it was not on a computer. And that's been the way that we've done it for the last, as long as I can remember. So, uh, so uh, there's a number of reasons for that, but I don't see that those reasons have changed. So I'm expecting that, yes, that you will come in to the college probably at least once and maybe twice, because you may have to do, well, the applied tests would be different, right? But the final exam, the comprehensive exam, which is 30% of the course, I expect that you'll be sitting down at a desk with teachers walking around, and you'll have one page of stuff that you'll be able to, and you'll be asked to write HTML code on paper. I think I answered that. Yeah, it's a whole course online. Um, in order to have consistency with the other classes, I did talk to Amal um, Al Muhammad. She's the team leader for this course, and yeah, she wants to do it all online. Uh, Having said that, we do have a classroom set up, and we can. You are welcome to come to the college. Nobody's going to stop you as long as you are COVID free. And if you wanted to make a tutorial in class, that's possible. I'm open to that. But yeah, at the moment, It's going to be online, and we'll see how we go. I mean, the problem is we can't really have more than I think I got like 16 or 19 in this class. Can't really have that many people in one room at the same time, so we would have to break the class in half or something. That's possible, but it's a little tricky. So at the moment, we're not sort of well, yeah, online. You'll see in the if you look at the document that I handed out to you, you see that the class location is stated as online by Zoom. So that's the way that it is planned. So yeah, just referring back to that document, there you'll see that there's 15 weeks of work that is set out there. And in this first week, we're just going to do introduction to Web 1. In previous times, we've started with Lab 1 and Assignment 1 pretty early, but this time I think it's kind of good that we have a bit of time. We got like a week and a half, 2 weeks to just get into introduction to HTML. And so that's like today's lesson, the main idea is to introduce you to the course. And so that's what it means by introduction to Web 1. It's not too much programming, but introduction to the course. But I do have an exercise for you, and you'll see that if you look on the D2L, you'll see that um, I put a where are you? There you go, a Dropbox link. And that Dropbox link basically refers to going to this site on W3 Schools. So if you go to that, if you navigate to that site, and it's got an HTML tutorial, and the idea is to do the first 5 or 6 of these, whatever's in that doc up to paragraphs. So the idea is you're going to go and go through each of these. At W3 Schools, I hope that you've used it before. If not, well, now's your big chance. But basically, what you're going to do is you go to the tutorial. It tells you how, it gives you a little bit of a explanation, and then it gives you an example, and then you can try the example, and you see one thing beside the other. So you can see, oh, this is the HTML code, and this is the result. And let's say if I change this, this is and then run it, and then you can see the change that's being made in the output. So the way this website works, W3 Schools, it's a simulator. So it's simulating two things. So what you're seeing on the screen there is as if what's on the left is like your Visual Studio Code. What's on the right is like your browser. So if and after we do the Visual Studio Code, sorry, after we do the W3 School stuff, then we'll get into using our Visual Studio Code and our browser, and we'll also get to use the server that we have here, which is a web hosting server on a private network. So that we can host your websites, and which will make it a little bit more sort of real. So yeah, so what so today I'm just really supposed to introduce to you the course. So that was a good question about the exam. I think I've answered that. You might see some other notable things there. There's a large part of the course is actually a project, and that could be familiar to you a little bit from the CP1000 course, because we had a little bit of an assignment, which was an HTML type assignment there. And so you're going to have a project, which is just going to be a big website. I mean, every semester we've done this, that's what it's been, a big website. And so that big website will be developed in stages. So the project will have a lot of sort of milestones. And as you meet a milestone, you're going to have to put something onto the D2L to show that you've met that milestone. So for example, your first milestone will be tell us what your website's going to be about. and then the next one will be, well, can you please put some wireframes, which is like little diagrams to show where things are going to be on a page of your website. And then you're going to be, okay, so put some code in there, and then it'll be, okay, so now change the CSS to make the web page work in this way and work in that way, put some images. So it'll be step by step by step through the semester. And then at the end, you'll submit this project, and the project is worth as much as the final exam. See that? 30%. So that's a significant part of the work. The labs, they're not worth a lot, but it's worth doing. And generally, people do okay in the labs. And there'll be a couple of practical assignments, as it says, and a couple of tests. So that's that. I think that's sort of covered. So as I said, looking at it here, we need to today, I need to make sure that when you finish this class, you got an idea what you're going to be doing in this course. I hope you're getting that idea now. Yeah, and the assessment is what people tend to focus on. So that's why I've got that there. We have to do some labs, practical assignments. Final exam is a big thing. Any other questions on that? No? Well, that's
Okay,
good.
Mr. Mark,
Yes. Hello, Mohammed.
about the projects, do we have to do it alone?
Uh, yeah, the projects are individual. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I wasn't hearing exactly. You were saying I do it alone. Yes. Yes, you do have to submit your own project in this course. It's individual. That may be different than what you do in other courses. So actually, that is so my colleagues have, well, I'm looking at the wrong place here. My colleagues have kind of made this is the hill that they set up to sort of defend, if you like. I won't say the hill that they decided to die on, because we're not planning on dying on it. But well, the line that they've drawn in the sand is individual work. Yeah. And that is why we have the project interviews. Yeah. So that we can ask you. So it's at the end of the project, when I say we, that's each teacher individually with their students. It's not like there's going to be a panel of teachers and we're going to interview you. No, I will talk to you. So I have to organize an interview with you at the end and ask you questions about your project. The purpose of which is to ensure that students did their own work. Uh, that seems to be okay. So let me try and give you a context of that. I think everybody likes context. I like context. But it's because of this really weird environment that we're in with this online learning thing, right? I mean, theoretically, people could just sort of, I mean, I can't even see you. We're here in class ostensibly, but I don't know who's there. You know what I mean? And so I don't know what work is being handed in. You know what I mean? It's work, but so this is to sort of keep it real. Yeah. So individual projects, and you need to be able to convince me in an interview that that's the way that went. Does that make sense? Do we have a group in WhatsApp? That's very welcome. If you guys make a group in WhatsApp, I will join it if you invite me to it. Yeah. So and then I will
Yeah, sure,
respond,
Mr. Mark. Mhm.
and I will respond to anything that I see on there. Likewise, I have given you my phone number, so that's an adjustment that is made because of the online as well. I mean, when I used to teach, I never used to give my phone number to students. I don't know what I was worried about, but my phone number's there, and the purpose that I give it to you, therefore, is yeah, send me a WhatsApp message, sir. I can't do this, that kind of thing, or sir, I'm worried about that, and that's been working out pretty well for me, I think. And I think we can sort of head off problems if we talk to each other quite a bit. And so, yeah, I will respond to WhatsApp in wherever I see it. And certainly, if you create a group for the class, I'll happily join that. I think it's a good thing. And it's good because it's not just a conversation between me and a student, but students also conversing between each other. And I think people learn a bit that way. Okay, so any other questions on that? Let's just so that's the course. I think I've sort of introduced that to you. Um, what to do now? So to get started, as I was saying a minute ago, to get started, what I want you to do is I want you to navigate to W3 Schools today, and I want you to do those first few things. It was down to paragraphs, and basically it's like just go to the page, uh, look at the example, try it yourself. Take a when you get it to this point, kind of thing. You know, do something to make it you. So if I could put my student number there, right? And that shows that this is me. And sorry, then I need to run that. And then I could take a snip of that. That's showing that I'm doing this stuff in W3 schools. Then I would just take this snip and paste it into a Word document. So um, copy paste, and I just say, okay, so here's I put some notes with it. I got this from W3 Schools, and I'd then save this Word document, and I will put that Word document when I've saved it, put it into the where are we? To put it into the Dropbox, which is going to be here, and that's what I want you to do for today. Yes, it is easy. Yes. Um, um, I hope that you find it easy. So I'm asking you to go down to paragraph. I'm not going to go through it all with you. It's there. If you have any questions about it, but I am here to sort of do that. So let's just see how this goes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that with you, and then I'm going to check the Dropbox and see how people are doing. And then we'll continue on with that. I'll put something else on D2L after. Now, what I'd like to do before we go is I got 18 students attending. That's awesome because I think there's 19 in the class. So 17 students attending. I'll try and do this in every class is I'll try and make um, a record of who came. So there we go. So I got our record of who came. And I'll put the recording up on the D2L so you can see it, so you can see what we've talked about. And also I can see who's here. Any other questions? I'm just going to leave the rest of the time to answer any questions. I haven't had many yet, but take a minute. If you have any questions, let's talk about them now. But let me see. I mean, maybe you'd like to say something about yourselves. I can see Omar, Muhammad, Amir, Ahmed, Akmal. I think I had you in class before in CP1000. Ali, Dara, that's maybe new to me. Asma was in class with me. Dania, I think, is new. Jazm, I no, Nay, I don't know. I don't think I taught Jazm last semester, anyways. Jemima, I remember from last semester. Same with Lubna, Miriam. I think we were together last semester. Muhammad Osama, not sure. Salah met today. Nice to see you, Salah. Well, that's the other thing I should say. Salah was able to find my class, my office. My office is in 258. I do come to work every day. And you're welcome to come and visit and ask me any questions that can help your learning. That's what I'm here for. So you're quite welcome. And so you know where I am now. About the zip file thing, Word file doesn't need to be in a zip, but but it's good that you asked that question, Omar, because when we start doing the stuff with Visual Studio stuff, when we're saving our HTML files, they should all be put into a zip folder. And the reason for that is because anything that's put onto D2L, D2L seems to have a security feature which strips out all the CSS. And so you might do a lot of work creating a web page with a bunch of CSS in it, and you upload it to D2L, and I don't see any of the CSS. And so, that's a waste of time for you. And it makes me, I can't give marks for things I can't see, right? And so it means that I'm not seeing what you've done, and that's a terrible shame. So please, yes, that may be what it is. XSS. So it's protection because they would be concerned about the CSS having some code in it, which could be uh, be destructive to things on the D2L site, and so they just don't allow the CSS code. But if you put it into a compressed file, you can put it on there, and that's because it's not going to run automatically out of a compressed file. Um, and the D2L did not change. Yes, if you can send to me by email. I mean, later we're going to have to get you onto D2L. That'll happen soon, and then you'll be able to do it there. Yes, I will record the classes. I'm recording this, and so in a minute I'll stop recording, I guess, when we stop the class. Any other questions? I'm just seeing these questions as they come on the chat. It seems to be the preferred way of you working with me. That's fine. Yes, I will so the classes are going to be recorded. I will save that to my YouTube channel. That's the way it works for me, and then I will give you the link in the D2L. So for you may have seen a video this morning on D2L, something I knocked up this morning that was like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. Yeah, so if I looked a little sleepy, that'd be why. And that so yeah, we can just put it in. Yes, there is a graded assignment for today. Well, assignment. It's a lab. There is a Dropbox, and you do have work. Visual Studio tools, yes, Visual Studio is part of Microsoft, so you should be able to go into your Microsoft subscription and find Visual Studio. Do you have to? So the thing about have to, is it compulsory? Then Mariam Al-Shaiba just preempted my thoughts. You can use brackets. You can use brackets or Notepad++ or whatever. It's up to you. I think you could probably do it in I think Microsoft's got a really sort of a simple text editor. You can do it in Microsoft Word. You can do it in anything you like, but the reason why I'm recommending Visual Studio is because Visual Studio, you will see it demonstrated by the software teachers as you move your way through the software program. If you like to use brackets, you're welcome to use brackets. Not a problem. Brackets is fine. I Visual Studio Code. It's not just Visual Studio. It's called Visual Studio Code. There it is there. So yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. Yeah. Yes, you do need to, if you're going to use that, you're going to need the latest version will be the best one, obviously. So the Visual Studio Code. Okay. Because Visual Studio itself is a bunch of tools that are a little bit sort of more than what we need, in development. All we need is Visual Studio Code. Okay. Right. Anything else? Okay. I think we're about done then. So I'm gonna close off the recording, and I'll close the meeting. And with my thanks to you students for coming, and particularly for those students who participated in the chat. Do appreciate that.
Mr. Mike,
Yes,
in this semester we will work only on HTML and CSS.
correct. No, well, correct, but not correct. All right. At the end of the semester, the last week or 2 weeks, we'll use WordPress. I think it is. But yeah, it's a content management system, and what it allows you to do is sort of if you wanted to set up a blog or even a website for commercial purposes, if you wanted to set up
Yeah,
a web shop, you know what I mean, start selling all your leftover furniture or something, or
yeah,
clothes or whatever. You know what people do, or jewelry.
yeah.
With that, you can set it up in like 20 minutes, right? And they'll even give you a website. Sorry, they'll even host it for you, or you can pay a bit of, and that's free. That's a free
Mm,
version, or you can pay a little bit of money. It's not much, like $10 a month or something, and they'll give you a better URL, right? And like uh, some snappyname.com. You know what I mean? Instead of having a long, weird name, you can have a short, cool name. I think it's called WordPress. Anyways, it doesn't take long to learn. Yeah, I mean, I do a demonstration with it in about 5 minutes, and then 20 minutes later, everybody's got a website going. It's like that. Salah, yes, you can speak to me. You can call me, or or we can talk privately. I guess that is. Anything else? Because I will close the meeting if there's no other questions. Okay, cheers, students. Um, let me see. I think I'll stop the